Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
And my name's Jonty.
Good evening, gentlemen. How do I find you?
Very well, but possibly not as well as you after a sensational game week.
I'm trying not to show smug face, but it's quite difficult.
We could easily just not mention it.
Should we not? Yeah, let's
not
talk about it.
Should we do Granville? Just ignore it, shall we?
We had a great time last week without you, Mark.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. I did.
Did you watch it back?
Well, actually, I was in bed. I went to bed early, nursing my cold, and I went on my iPhone, and the missus said to me, "You're not going to tune in and listen to it live, are you?" And I did. I turned it on for the first few minutes live, just to make sure you guys are all right and set up. And it was like Daddy looking in on the kids, basically, just checking you're okay.
Weird.
Yeah, you're fine. Then I left you. But yeah, the lunatics took over the asylum and did a very good job, I thought. And Jack was a brilliant guest, wasn't he?
He was very good, very eloquent, and he took his week quite well, considering, because for those that didn't hear, he took an audacious move to try and unseat the world number one and captain Sanchez, and it failed, and he didn't captain Aguero, and so it kind of kept him out of it. But he put a brave face on it, and it was good of him to come in.
He actually stood a bit surprisingly well, considering he didn't captain Aguero.
Oh yeah, well that's once you're in the top 10, you're there for a reason. So.
Well, he took a massive gamble, and I guess that when you look at it now in the situation we're in now after tonight's game, when obviously the Arsenal attacking players didn't come off. Yeah, it was the right thing. He had to go for it, didn't he? Because this week has proven that, well, a lot of people went Sanchez, but it really wasn't a massive alternative. No one came in really as a captain. So, he went for it. And I mean, Jack's in his top 5 still, and he's still pushing up there. But yeah, he was a great guest, and it was a good punt of his to go for that. Anyway, this game week, got to say that match. But both of you missed that. I've just come from the Arsenal Sunderland game, just been watching it. Breathless stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And I had Koscielny and Bellerin in that game, and it was excruciating watching it because there was chances at both ends, and I didn't have any attacking Arsenal players, so I didn't really want Ramsey and Giroud to do anything. Everyone had a chance more or less in that game. Sunderland had some fantastic chances on the break, and I managed to come out of it. I know Granville, this is going to be news to you. I've got maximum bonus from 2 players.
I've got some breaking news.
Oh, maybe have I lost them?
No, it's not that major. This is from Andy85 on our YouTube channel. Apparently, Koscielny has retained his 3 bonus points, but Bellerin down to 2. Apparently, so I can't confirm that officially. It does change. They start taking off bits and bobs and some of the negative points, but it does look like. But that's not bad.
I've got to take that on the chin, haven't I? Really, to be honest, 5 points. I watched it. Pantinimon was like incredible, and I was watching it going, well, he's got 3 bonus.
Yeah.
I might get 2 for Bellerin because he's putting a load of crosses. No, I looked and I couldn't believe it. Bellerin and Koscielny beating Pantinimon. I don't think Pantinimon's got a bonus point.
No, I mean, I think one of our community questions we'll deal with later is potential changes to the game, and something we discussed before, which we discuss later, is perhaps there is a case for doing something about bonus points for goalkeepers that, in cases like this, pretty much save the match for a team. Are the true outstanding players. But yeah, so that looks like you're probably finishing on 87.
87 points, and it's all about the caption. Manny. Incredible. Yes. I know there's some questions in the community. I know, Granville, you want to come in and say how fortunate I was, and you want to ask me about that. Should we do rough or the smooth first, though? Oh, actually, how did your game weeks go? Because, Granville, have you come in and managed to top up your score yet?
Well, I've only just come in, and I'm just checking the score. I know it was 0-0, so I've got 53. I guess that's below average. It wasn't a very good game week at all. Missed out on Silva. Missed out on who else scored points? Who else scored points this week? No one else really.
No, it just wasn't. No.
Van Arnold was the one. Wickham was a waste of time. 2 points over 2 games. And I had the 3 Liverpool players, and let me down again. I was saying that, a few weeks ago in game week 34 when I had my wild card and I got scored 98 points. Basically, that was just a facade, because having that game week and having the Liverpool in there as well for the double has basically basically ruined any chances of me getting in the top 10k.
Yeah.
think
Just
so?
keeping them. I suppose I could have got rid of them, but that and this Arsenal double game week, which hasn't really worked out, has cost me. So there you go. It's not always about 1 week. It's about maintaining consistency over a number of weeks.
It's funny because we thought you were. I know, John, you agreed, didn't you? You thought Granville was set up after the wild card.
I thought he was, and I was quite disappointed the following week where the game that wild card brought in was lost. But I always thought there was room for change, and I think yes, he's pointed out that Liverpool was the killer really. I mean, I got Liverpool players in without a wild card, but I did remove them. I removed them for a hit, and I'm glad I did. It worked out well for anyone who got rid of them, because they've been appalling really. They've been really bad. I mean, Coutinho still looked threatening. We always know, but he's not. He's not in the Sanchez Silva bracket or Hazard.
He's not a goal threat, is he? I watched. I mean, I've still got him, so I was watching him keenly.
Yeah.
He doesn't really get enough opportunities to get. I think he had one shot on goal at the weekend, and that was a long shot.
I think Coutinho is the kind of player that's good if Liverpool, like they were the previous season, they've got a Suarez and Sturridge is fit, and there's a lot of goals coming out of them. But if they're only scoring one, and it's a Lallana goal, it's just the opportunities just aren't there.
No, and there's probably had a couple that have had opportunities. I mean, Giroud could have scored 2 at the weekend against United. He had chances, and they were both would have been assisted by Mesut Ozil. So that was my other player. I got Ozil in instead of Silva. So that's the biggest mistake, of course.
Yeah.
I could have done, if I'd done that last week, then I'd probably be in the top 10k. But now I'm not, and there's probably no. I'll see how it goes, but I'll probably be about 15 points off at the start of the last game week. So unless I get a lucky captain or something, I don't think I've got much chance.
Monty in the Granville in the last week with your captain. A lot of people will be doing that, I think. So
yeah. I think you have to, and I mean, I hear what you say about Silva. I haven't got Silva. I got rid of him for Sterling back in the double game week. I made other moves, didn't get him back. It would have taken another hit. But yeah, I mean, immediately the last 2 weeks, I think that's 25 points or so that's cost me by not having Silva. And it's very frustrating when you know there's a player like that who's very well owned. Half of the top 10,000 players have him. So immediately, that's the average in the top 10,000 up by 5, and so it's very difficult. You need your other player. I mean, with my game week, I got 61, but another great week for my bench with Jeff Cameron again defying.
I saw that.
Defying me.
Unbelievable.
Insisting on getting points on my bench.
You did say last week, didn't you, in the podcast? And Mark wasn't on it. He mentioned about Punchin scoring all those points on the bench. It happened again.
Same 2 players, Cameron and Punchin. Week before, they got me points. I didn't think they would do it again. They've done it again. Nick, game week 38, there's one thing you can guarantee from my side. Jeff Cameron, Jason Punchin, they are in, they're not moving, they are there. So that's probably a warning.
Scoring 2 points each.
Yeah.
That's a warning to anyone who wants to get them in. They will do nothing.
Okay, John, let's look at Rough with a Smooth. Because there's some good ones. I picked them out this week, so if you want to read through them, I think there's some.
Okay. Well, let's go for some. Let's go for some rough ones, and this is the roughest. It's Bangladesh, who I think is a well-known poster that's changed his name to do with the team competition we have on the website. But he took a Mane out for a hit. So he spent 4 points to take out 23 points. And he did get Koscielny in.
He says here he could have got Bellerin for nothing. So
he could have got Bellerin for nothing. So that was absolutely appalling for him. He would have been, he would have been in the top 10 in India otherwise, out of all the Indian players. So, who is Sconius? This is I can't even read it. It almost makes me cry. It's too sad. I'll read it though anyway. So Mane and Benteke, who scored, even though Aston Villa got humiliated, he scored. out for a 4-point hit. He points out that they got lots of points. In came Cazorla, who did nothing. Wickham, who arguably did less than nothing. And he benched his Liverpool defender, his Leicester defender. So Agueruni, Mignolet.
Listen to this. Look at this bench. You're moaning about your bench.
Okay,
Have a look at this one.
Okay, Mignolet, Mane, Rose, and Schlupp. All benched.
All on the bench.
51 points. That's 2 points less than your 11 got.
And I noticed that he came on the site on Saturday and said 56 points on the bench. Who can beat this? Nobody believed him, and everyone was going, "Put your link up or go away." It was like there was a big crowd at the gates with burning torches, going, "Heretic, heretic." And then he posted the other day, going, "Actually, I got it wrong. It wasn't 56. It was 51." And he put his link up, and I had a look tonight just to check because I was like, "Really, 51? He's spot on, 51. How painful is that? I've never seen a total like that on a bench."
I don't think I could. I mean, I've got about 18 or so on my bench. I had a similar amount last week as well. I can live with that, but 51, I don't know if I could carry on. Poor guy.
I'd have to leave the country and lock myself away for a week. I think that was so painful.
So let's
what about the smooth, Jonty?
Let's go with some smooths. Heels overhead. Oh, I like this one. Brings me back to last year, the glory days of Yaya Toure. Brought him in game week 36 as a punt, delivered him a point, and then bingo, brace, game week 37. Fantastic. I like that one.
Yeah.
Now, Fortune's always hiding. Now, he's got one. It's related to his draft league game. So he's got some rivalries going on there. He switched Fellaini for Mane with 10 minutes to spare before the deadline. His team also includes Benteke, Van Arnholt and Pantilimon. His opponent took out Shane Long.
This is incredible, taking out Shane Long. What are the odds?
For Stokes Diouf, who was one of the few weeks where he really didn't actually get much. And he also benched Gomez and Herrera.
So I mean, imagine that guy.
This is his opponent. So his smooth is the sheer.
It does make you feel a lot. It makes me feel a lot better.
Oh yeah.
A lot of those are quite logical moves when you look at them.
They're great moves.
I guess. I mean, taking out Shane Long. I guess that's a logical.
Yeah.
A couple of our community. That brings us on to speaking of
Sorry.
We lost you there, Granville, for a little bit.
I was going to say, speaking of Mane, a couple of the members of the community have asked some questions of Mark, who, of course, had Mane in his team. Mike Harborough asks, when did you hear? Were you watching the game or listening to it? And when did you hear? And
I've got a great story about that. Go on.
And Jaffalad, and this is one I'd like to. How come Mane's in your team? Because everyone had forgotten about him. Was it by accident?
I'll get onto that in a minute, and I know Granville's like, he can't believe it either, and it's not that mysterious. Anyway, so this is a story on Saturday. I often have to miss the early kickoff because I have to. It's brownie points. I've got to give something, and so it's Southampton Villa, and I thought, well, I've got Mane in there, so I'd like to watch it, but I'll let it go because I want to watch the Sunday games and the evening games. So we went shopping. So we went to Waitrose. We were fresh out of basically Prosecco and Moroccan hummus, so we had to go to emergency appointment at Waitrose to kick in with that. So in Waitrose, I was at the till paying for the Prosecco, only joking, paying for the goods, and looked at my phone, 0-0. So I thought, well, I'm not missing much, fine. Bags in the trolley, back to the car. That was about, 4.5 minutes? Opened the boot, shopping in the boot, sat in the passenger seat, and looked at my phone before we set off. Mane scores 3-minute hat-trick. I had to stop the car. I couldn't quite believe it as we were getting out of the car park. I thought, it was like one of those moments where you think, those websites where they can hack and make it look like it's a story about something made up. I thought, is that right? And I had to refresh the BBC site about 3 or 4 times because I just could not believe in the time it took me to leave the supermarket and pack the bags in the car, I'd got a hat-trick off Mane. I mean, scoring one would have been amazing. It was just incredible.
Fastest in Premier League history, beat Robbie Fowler's. I just saw some comments on Twitter saying, "Has anyone got Mane?" I wondered, has he been sent off or scored? And then I saw another thing that just said Mane 14, Mane 15, Mane 16.
Really?
Incredible. I mean, had I been at home watching the game, I don't know what I would have done. I would have been like dancing all around the room, I expect, or having an economy or something. It would have been, it would have been pretty severe. So in a way, it was quite nice that I was in the comfortable middle class environment of Waitrose's queue.
Nice.
Yeah. So Jalafad, he wants to know about what I'm even doing with Mane, does he?
Yeah, definitely. Why is he the team?
The thing is, I said to Granville the week before, because I played Mane and Bertrand at what game was it? Was it Leicester? Yeah, it was. And I thought, well, Southampton, I had to back them because I had Schlupp and I put him on the bench because I thought, well, I'll have to play Mane. So what I'll do, as I'm playing Mane, I don't want to play my Leicester defender. I'll play Bertrand and back Southampton for a 1-0 win and Mane goal. That didn't happen, and Schlupp got a clean sheet, and I was cursing my Southampton assets because they denied me the Schlupp clean sheet, and I thought to myself, why did I play Bertrand over Schlupp? Mainly because I had Mane, right? So having kept faith of him there, I thought, well, he owes me one. I'm going to keep him because I was looking at Wiltshire in for Mane because that was a straight swap. And in the end, I went, no, I'm going to double on Arsenal defence and get Koscielny in for Bertrand. So I'll take it out on Bertrand instead of Mane. So I thought I'll play Bertrand against Villa, Mane against Villa, and I kept faith in him because I thought, well, he owes me one. The thing is, the last 3 or 4 weeks, whenever I'd listened to the commentary, everyone was saying, well, Southampton, Mane's their best player, he's their only threat. So I was like thinking, well, okay, he's playing all right, and so I just kept faith of him, and I could not believe that is obviously fortunate to get a hat trick out of him, but I did keep faith of him. It's not that I was. It was fortunate that I kept him. It was just fortunate that obviously he got the hat trick. But there you go, Granville. You're not happy at all about it, are you?
No, that's all right. That's actually reasonable. You said you got fortunate. You did, definitely. Because when I thought that I'd missed a trick, honestly, and I went to have a look. When I spoke to you earlier today, I went to have a look at his stats to see, have I missed something here? And I hadn't, because I went back to game week 30 and he's had 7 shots in 7 games. So he's not a massive goal threat.
Well,
it's just on the day. I mean, it just happened on the day, and you had him.
But I've got a stat for you, right? I've got a stat for you. Before last weekend, he had scored or assisted 45% of Southampton's goals when on the pitch. The only midfielder who's got a better rate than that is Sanchez on 47%. And now Mane's actually scored or assisted 50% of Southampton's goals on the pitch. So basically, if Southampton score at the moment, Mane's got a 50% chance of having a goal or assist. So I did look at that and go, okay, well, Southampton. The trouble was, Southampton weren't scoring any goals, though, were they? So I didn't really expect them. I thought to myself, if Southampton score, there's a good chance Mane's going to get. Right. Who thought they were going to get 6 against Villa? It's thanks to Tim Sherwood, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with the defending, but there you go.
I think, that week was potential. Well, for you, and if anyone, I don't know if there's any other player out there who's got Mane and Long or Pella or just one of the others, because that's potentially we talk about game week 38, that big crushing
game week 8,
defeat. Game week 8, sorry, the great crushing defeat of Sunderland by Southampton, which propelled everyone to dizzy heights. And if you had if someone had Mane and Long, the thing is, the double game week again ruined it. Now, someone might have captained, might sort of think, I'll take a punt on Mane, or people were talking about Pella. They'd have captained Pella. They'd have had a great score, and so this could have been. So the double game week kind of ruined the single game week as with the stars this game week.
Yeah, and another one of those, we're moving to all aboard now, another one of those stars is the player you've mentioned, David Silva. Yeah. And again, this is something, I took a hit 3 weeks ago to bring Silva back in. I got rid of Sterling and took a hit. I got Sanchez, Silva and Vlahovic. And I obviously thought, well, Sanchez is the one I want. Sanchez is the one that spurred me on to take the hit. Silva had QPR at home, so I thought, well, it's good for that. But actually, it's Silva who's turned out to be, Sanchez has let me down and everybody else down. And Silva's turned out to be the star. And going into the final week at home to Southampton, me having Silva is actually, I feel good about it. I know, and he's a player who lets everybody down so often, but at the moment he's just delivering, and it's down to City playing one up front again, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, it's back to that, and also Yaya Toure back. I mean, we looked into this before. There was no kind of evidence that Yaya Toure in or out helped or hindered Silva. It just helps Man City, and it helps the balance of Man City, and it helps their scorers to score and their assisters to assist. We might come to it later as well. There's another Man City player I'll talk about a bit later in one of the community questions. But it's showing that pretty much all of their assets are quite handy to have. Silva is certainly the only player I don't own that I really want to own for the final game week. I can't do that without removing someone like Sanchez or Hazard, which I'm not quite prepared to do, or taking a hit. And taking a hit in the final game week is a tough call because it's got to pay instant dividends. So I might
The thing is, John, I can swap in directly for Ozil, but is that what I really want to do in the last game week when I need to catch up 15 points?
No, I'm sure we'll come to it.
I probably won't, and I'll probably drop. Can I just mention one other thing, Mark, to you? Because we spoke about Mane, but I don't think that was the kind of like the thing that was most luckiest about your game week. It was Mignolet, wasn't it?
You reckon?
Absolutely. He gets a penalty save from a non-penalty, which they then score a follow-up, and he gets a bonus.
Yeah. So all the Skirtle owners.
I had 3 Liverpool players, and you, with your Mignolet, outscored them all.
I honestly, I was looking at it because I was going, shall I do the 4 to Mignolet to Pantilimon? And I think actually Pantilimon still beats him with that, even with the 4. I think he's got 13, 14 points now with tonight's clean sheet. So it would have worked out better, but I didn't think it was worth the risk. And it looked like I was going to get nothing out of Mignolet, but when the penalty was given, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be brilliant if he actually saved it as well? So I was like going, at least with a few minutes to go, this is a chance to get something out of Mignolet, if by some miracle he saves it. And he went and did it as well, and I was like, I can't put a foot wrong. This is ridiculous. If there was 3 or 4 more game weeks, I'd fancy my chances of winning this. The luck I'm having. It was. I can't.
I mean, fair dues. Your transfers have been spot on. I mean, you've got rid of the players who like Fabregas, and who else did you get rid of this week?
Yeah.
You made transfers.
Sterling and Fabregas. I mean, Fabregas. Look what's happened to him. Sent off. I mean, what the chances of that? It's ridiculous.
And then Silva the week before, and then and getting the right keeper.
Yeah.
You've done the perfect transfers.
Yeah, I need to play the lottery or something at the moment. It's I've got to say it's just running with me. But let's go back to all aboard. Benteke is second on transfers in 13,000, and then Mane on 8,000, Aguero 8,000. Benteke low, right? So a question later on that Atletico Timbo raises, and one we might as well look at now.
Yeah.
He asks about cut final rotation. Now, a lot of people are buying Benteke. Do we think there's a chance he's going to get rested? It looks that way.
Are they Are Villa completely safe?
Yeah, safe as
they are.
Right, despite the 6-1.
Okay, then I think there's a very good chance because Sherwood has been talking about cramps setting in, about tired legs. He's been saying all of these things. I mean, the capitulation to Southampton shows that they are a team that needs a lot of them need a break. I think it's. I would say Benteke is a risk, a very high risk. He's certainly a risk to last more than 60 minutes.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because he is such a great differential on that final day against Burnley.
I'm very surprised to see so many bringing him in. I'm also surprised to see so many bringing Mane in. I mean, I suppose it's like 9,000,
really?
perhaps not too much.
What, away to City?
Away to City, though, is he going to get anything like that?
I mean, that's the ultimate in kind of knee jerk. Guy gets fastest hat trick one week, so obviously he's going to get really great score. I mean it's. I mean, then we got Aguero. I can't believe there's people without Aguero, but nevertheless there are.
So, there are people got rid of him a few weeks ago when he went through that really bad run of form.
Did they? Right.
And they did it probably because of game week 34 double game week.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just looking at the table here. City have got second now.
Yeah.
After that result today, the Arsenal have got third because their goal difference is 7 better than United's.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing to play for.
No.
So Arsenal will surely rest their players. They can't get.
This is it.
It's all over.
I can see. Yeah, I mean, I talk about, should I get Silva in? I'd have to. Sanchez could. Yeah, he could be rested. I don't know. I don't know about Ramsey, because obviously Wenger is obviously very, like all Premier League managers, but him especially, is very aware of the fitness levels and not burning players out. I just don't get the sense with Ramsey that he's burning out in any way. I think he's had such a long break this season through injury. He's not a player I get the sense he could be rested.
Well, it's not really for that. It's if they get injured.
Yeah,
you wouldn't really get any playing players in a dead rubber, and them getting injured. He'd get criticised for that.
You've got to look at the players that he's got to come in. Like, pretty certain Walcott will start after tonight because he looked lively. Wiltshire started tonight, but odds on he's going to start against West Brom.
And
Coughlin was rested, so you've got to think Coughlin's going to.
Doesn't look like Welbeck's fit though.
Doesn't look like Welbeck's fit, so Giroud looks nailed on, and unless he plays Walcott down the centre, which he could do.
I think transferring Giroud out would be wise purely on form. He's literally got nothing to play for there. With Welbeck being an injury day, he's fairly confident he's going to start the FA Cup final no matter what he does. But part of his game is Wenger probably thinks he's doing all right, because part of his game, we spoke about it last week, is basically to be that kind of central player that kind of gets in the way, and then it draws others into the game.
Didn't you call him a lump, John T, last week? I think.
Yeah, just basically a good looking lump. Obviously, he's an attractive man, but
very attractive.
But yeah, that's essentially what he does. So he's doing that job. It hasn't worked this game in bringing the other players, but then again, maybe if Pantilimon hadn't been on such fine form, Arsenal could have won that 4-0.
Really? I didn't see the game. I don't know exactly what happened. I mean, you could depress me by telling me how many chances Giroud missed, but
Giroud's, they seemed a bit weak, but it was Ramsey and Sanchez, Ramsey again, and Wilshere. I mean, they're all playing for an FA Cup final place. So the answer to the question is, will there be rotation? Yes, of course there will.
Across the board.
Either team.
Okay, transfers out, John T. Fabregas top of that, 26,000 after his bizarre sending off at the Hawthorn. Incredible.
Easy transfer out,
yeah. And then Harry Kane, there he is. I mean, what a run.
A player I've spoken about getting out many times.
See, I actually think that Kane would be the one who you'd get on this weekend, because we're talking about Arsenal and we'll be resting players. Liverpool out of form. Chelsea, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, they got beat 3-0. Do you think they're going to improve, or they're just happy with their lot? I can't see anywhere you go. Maybe United, but they've got a more difficult game.
We'll come
to
Spurs.
Sorry.
There's absolutely tons of options in the striker bracket that I would consider. Gomez, for example, fantastic form at the moment. Murray, Palace,
Lukaku.
You've got the Leicester one, Ulloa as well. Well, obviously Lukaku's in a different price range to Kane, so it's not such an easy swap. But yeah, Lukaku would be my absolute top choice.
I just don't know whether I'd still. If I had Kane, I think I'd keep him for this weekend.
If I don't swap Kane out, I'm tempted to bench him, because it's between Kane and Albrighton for me. And I look at Leicester and is it Leicester QPR?
Yeah, then Leicester are going to have a party there, aren't they?
Leicester can have a party, and Spurs haven't had a party for some months now. So Kane is it's not necessarily Kane, it's the whole of Spurs.
Yeah.
They've got a pre-season tour of Australia, and then Kane's got the England under-21s, which he's very keen on. I'm not suggesting he's going to be rested, because they haven't really got. But this completely pointless game is not his priority at all. His priority is staying fit for the Australia tour and getting into that England under-21s starting lineup.
Okay, well, let's look at Scout Leagues. I mean, this is a bit academic at the moment because the game is still updating. But going into the night, Simon March was top of the Scout League on 2407, and he was top of the world by, he was top of the world by 38 points, I believe. Yeah, 38 points. I mean, So he kind of the result tonight would have been a great one for him. I mean, no one really, a lot of people captain Cazorla around him, or one or two captain Cazorla around him. Not many took a gamble, and most people went with Sanchez as well for the captain. And the fact that Sanchez let everybody down just plays into Simon's hands. It looks like Dufflings has got it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I think so. It was the double game week was so wonderfully timed as well, because Sanchez, Ramsey, not so much Giroud, but Özil even, but definitely Ramsey and Sanchez offered a hell of a lot of promise to people. So Sanchez would have been the popular choice. You're not going to risk it, especially after people saw the Aguero haul the week before. They think go for the big hitter. He let everyone down, and without that double game week, there would have been the people below him. They would have taken that risk. They would have think, no, I'm going to go for Silva. I'm going to go for whoever.
Points in the
Mane, even,
Mane. Someone might have gone Mane. Berahino. If any of them got Berahino, maybe they might have done that. I mean, who knows? But,
so Simon is top of the scout here. Ken Gleave is second on 2,362. Then Marius Freisenberg was on 2,350, and then John Sumner and Stuart Shingler were fourth and fifth. So yeah, Simon, we'll see when the game's updated how far he is ahead, but I think he's going to go into Sunday 35, 40 points ahead, which is the biggest lead I think I can remember going into the final day. And I often take good notice of what happens on the final day. It's going to have something spectacular to catch him, isn't it?
You might as well just watch your own team this time. See how high you can get. You can get in the top 50. It's a good chance.
Over in Members League, Simon's winning that. Stuart Shingler, who's fifth in the Classic Scout League, is now in the Members League. He's second in the Members League on 2,337. Over in Ultimate, Damien Lindell is still top of the Scout League, 2,773. And he's fourth overall, but he's some 80 points behind the leader, so he's doing very well, but doesn't look like he's going to be in the money there for that one. Over in Sky Game, though, it's very different. Jeff Pryor is top of the Scout League on 2,414, and he's top overall. I exchanged some emails with Jeff today. He's got a big weekend, because not only could he win 30 grand in this for Sky, he's also a Norwich fan, so he's got the playoff semi-final to come, or final to come. So he's a massive weekend in his life. So best of luck, Jeff, with that. So yeah, I mean, it looks like he's in a position to claim that prize, though.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah.
I mean, he won the Scout Dream Team League last season, so he's obviously knows what he's doing, Mr. Pryor.
It's really, I mean, we spoke with Luke, our regular Sky expert, about the Sky Game, and it's a tough one because of the limited transfers. But those like Jeff have saved some back. He's probably benefited as well from the double. Even though you don't necessarily get the double game week in Sky because you can make transfers within the week, there still would have been heavy investment from everyone in Arsenal assets. I know I did in Sky. And so that meant that it was hard for anyone to catch him up.
Well, we'll try and get Jeff on the show in a couple of weeks' time if he's up for that. Elsewhere, Mondigal will complete their £30,000 World Championship on Sunday. We'll do a roundup of that on Friday, but that's a big prize to be given out in game week 38 as well. And I know it's in Play On. They do this leaderboard thing, and Tom Fenley is third in that. You win £1,000 if you're top of the leaderboard. Tom doing all right in there. He's not having a bad season.
He's doing very well.
There's no wild card to forget about. Forget pressing the button.
Very good. So Tom's in with a chance of winning the grand there. We'll keep track of that. The FFS team is 19th on that. Respectable, but should be doing better. We'll do better next year. Okay, weekend preview. Granville, well, you've been out of your meeting and then you've been licking your wounds about my Mane hat-trick, so I guess you haven't had time to pick the clean sheet up.
No, I have. I just wanted to mention that last week I picked out the clean sheets and I went for Leicester Sunderland. I said it'd be 0-0.
Yeah.
And it was 0-0.
Yeah.
I thought it was the most obvious 0-0 the whole week. I didn't back it, of course, and I didn't actually back it by getting another Sunderland defender in. So silly me.
Sunderland have kept 3 clean sheets in a row now, and Arsenal haven't scored at home for the last 3 as well. It's just bizarre what happens at the stage of the season, isn't it?
I know. I don't know what's happened with Arsenal because there was in such good form, and then they had that really odd result. Who was it against? Who they got beat 1-0? Who beat them a couple of weeks ago? Was it Villa?
I'm not actually sure. I can't recall that. My mind's frazzled.
Yeah, mine is.
Prosecco I drank on Saturday.
And everything changed. Anyway, let's pick out clean sheets. I think Leicester are going to get another clean sheet because they're playing QPR. QPR just. they're fed up, really, aren't they? I think Leicester are going to get a clean sheet. I think I always back City, don't I, when they're at home, and they never get a clean sheet. Who's in trouble? We've got Hull. I'm going to go for Newcastle. I think they're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
With a clean sheet at home to West Ham.
What do you think of Everton Spurs? I think that looks like a clean sheet, the way Spurs are playing.
Yeah, that could be the other one, I think. Well, how do you think the whole Man United... Because, I mean, Sky are setting up this dramatic conclusion on Sunday. They're going to show the whole Man United game, and they're going to hope that Newcastle-West Ham stays 0-0, I guess, while Hull are fighting it out with United. United haven't really got much to play for, have they? I mean,
they haven't got anything to play for.
No.
So,
the thing is, you do switch off. I mean, even if you don't mean to switch off, you just do. You saw it with Chelsea last week against West Brom. I remember when United won the league a few years ago. They played West Ham the last game of the season. West Ham needed to win. It was at Old Trafford, and Tevez actually scored the winner. And United just didn't. I don't know. It just looked like it's sort of like you could accuse them of throwing the game. I know they didn't throw the game. It's just one of those things that you do psychologically switch off by, say, it's about 5%, and it makes such a big difference to the way you play.
I think
I just have a feeling that Hull will actually win that game, but they'll still go down because because Newcastle will also get a result.
I think that's possible. I think the thing with Man U as well, it depends who they bring in. It's highly likely that the likes of Januzaj will come in. And it depends if he's fit. That is, it's just if it's a meaningless game, is give those younger players a chance.
It isn't meaningless. This is the thing. It's not meaningless to Hull, and it would be doing Newcastle a disservice to put out anything that wasn't a full strength side. I'm just saying, even with a full strength side, I don't think they're going to rotate.
I don't think. What I'm saying is there'll be some element of rotation, but no, they won't. They're not going to do a wholesale one. It's not going to be like all kids. But I think there's one or two changes, and there's one or two younger players that could come in. And I don't know what those younger players' mentality is going to be like. They could be seizing their moment, going, "Hooray! I've got to start." It's tough. But I think, as alluded to, that's a really tough one to predict, really. Not quite sure what either side's going to do.
I mean, is there a 5-5 game in there somewhere? Is there a West Brom Man United in there? I mean, that's what we're looking for.
I don't think it'll be a 5-5. I think Everton are gonna do well. And I mentioned Lukaku. It's come to one of the community questions about players you recommend. Lukaku scored. I like these game week 38. Kind of hoodoo things, but Lukaku scored game week 38 last season. He of course scored the hat-trick.
That was the season before last, yeah.
Season before last. So he likes game week 38. Spurs are pretty poor at the moment. Everton are pretty good, but Lukaku's stats are really good. That's the thing. He's on fire. So I can see the Everton that has the potential for being a 3-1, 3-2, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at Leicester QPR. We've said it before. I just think QPR will go their heads in it. Really. I mean, Ramsey's got the job now. I guess that might lift them a bit. But I just think Leicester are so buoyant. They're going to have the hell of a party on that on all day. And I think Pearson's going to play his full strength team. I mean, maybe Vardy could be a risk if he's still nursing that foot problem. We'll find out on the boards, no doubt, Saturday morning. But I just think, I think that could be one with goals in it. But it's just so unpredictable, isn't it? It's like, there's so little at stake now other than Hull and Newcastle. So it's sad in a way that it is like that. There aren't teams, and also I think the Europa League is it's quite a sad tournament. Really, it's such a there's teams like Spurs and Southampton Spurs in particular actively trying to not be in it. I mean, that's a real...
It looks that way. I don't know whether that's the case, but it does look that way. But it's cost them over the last few years.
Yeah.
Being in the Europa League. I don't know what you do about that competition. What do you do? I think this needs trimming down, doesn't it?
It needs trimming down. It's too many games, and they're in far-flung places as well.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah. So, I mean, Spurs have handled it as well as they can, and they've essentially had two squads. And at the first half of the season, remember, Harry Kane was their Europe. He was their Europe guy. It was really when he started scoring the goals there and they came to the realization they didn't have any other strikers that could match him. But yeah, so you would see like Davis starting as fullback in the Europe games, Rose in the Premier League, and I think that's the way you do. You've got to have quite a big squad like Spurs have. But it's really costly. I wouldn't like to be a fan of a team that was in Europa League. I think it would be quite disappointing. I think.
Yeah, strange that you're saying that.
Liverpool and Spurs Liverpool are already there. No, they're not actually, are they? 62. Liverpool, Spurs, and Southampton vying for those spots. I think two out of three have definitely will definitely qualify, and then I think there's an extra one goes to if Arsenal win the cup, then the third of those teams gets to go in the Europa League. I think Southampton the only team that really actively pushing to get in there.
I think so, yeah. Because it's a rarity for them, but they haven't been jaded by it yet.
Jonty, let's finish up on some questions from the community because there's quite a few to get through. So do you want to read some out?
Yeah. So Atletico Timber, we mentioned him before. He asked about cup rotation, but he also asked, is there a player worth a hit this week? And I would say it depends where you are and what you're looking to achieve. If, for example, if someone's in Mark's position where they're looking to get the highest rank possible, it would seem foolish to deduct 4 points from that and set yourself down. I think for someone like me who's very little to play for, in that I've achieved what I want in terms of prizes in mini leagues, and I can't achieve the other things I'd like to win it, I might take a hit. So I think it is entirely dependent on where you are and the quality of the team you've got going into it.
The only thing I'm looking at is, I haven't got a Chelsea defender, so Chelsea own the Sunderland. Sunderland have nothing to play for now. Don't have a big threat up front. And you think, well, Ivanovic and Terry will play and have got a goal threat. So I'd have to get a clean sheet and attacking points to make it worth it. So it's a real roll of the dice.
After seeing Chelsea against West Brom, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't take a hit for a Chelsea defender.
Well, the only thing is I've got Koscielny and Bellerin, so I've got to think that I'll be very fortunate if both of those play. That's the only thing. But
Granville, what about you? I mean, your hopes and dreams for this season have almost ended, and
Well, I think I also made another mistake last week. I thought I'd get Wickham in for Vardy. Now Vardy's got QPR at home, isn't he? I mean, I knew that. I just thought it was just worth the risk. Now it looks terrible. There's so many things I could do. I can probably take out virtually any player and be quite. I think it's quite safe. I think Sterling probably. I'd say Sterling for Silva, but it's just such a rubbish transfer for me. I'd want to, at least have a shot at the top 10k. I'll see where I am anyway when the game updates.
You don't know. I mean, you could give the armband to Silva. I mean, he's in the kind of form where he could get a goal and assist and double figures.
Yeah, I mean that's the other good point about taking a hit. If you're going to be taking a punt and getting like Lukaku in, then put the armband on him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, but I can only really swap him for Wickham, and I just don't have the available funds to transfer him without a hit. So I haven't looked at it yet. I was just.
This brings in the next question from Matthew Legod about who would be our punts. So this is a good week for punts. I mean, I'm a dull player, and even I'm tempted to do something exciting.
Yeah.
So he asked us for punt defender, midfielder, and forward. So. For me, I would say a defender. I'd be quite tempted by a Man U defender like Smalling, who can get bonus, and I'm not convinced by Hull. I think midfielder. Now we're going to have a community article out tomorrow by JK entitled "James Milner just got interesting."
I spotted that. What is that about? Is that about James Milner?
James Milner has just got interesting.
Well,
his stats are matching Silva. His underlying stats in terms of attacking are matching.
You've just
Silva.
given away the entirety of that article there before it comes out.
But it's all beautifully written, and it's got some great stuff. So he's putting forward a good case for James Milner. I think that's a great option. No one's going to be getting him in apart from those listening to us now, hopefully. And forwards, so many options. Joa, Lukaku, Gomez, Murray, all of them great fixtures. Will probably play. Put the armband. I mean, I would definitely. I'd be looking at them. Too much choice for forward options, I think.
I think the trouble with I think Swansea away, we just put men on the ball. I don't really fancy Palace at all, and they're not that great at home. I think Arsenal at home to West Brom. What kind of form are Arsenal in? They're going to rest players. It's so difficult to find. I know you're saying there's loads of players, but do you know how good are these players? What Stoke as well? They're playing Liverpool. How about a bit of crouch action?
Yeah, no,
he's
Charlie Adams.
not fit. Yeah, Charlie Adams the one there. I would go basically defender. I suppose my friend Kolarov is always an option. Looks like he's going to play. He's played the last 4 at home, and I think he scored in the last 2 home games, a free kick. So Kolarov's going to be one punt there. Midfield. If you're going to take a punt, you've got to have someone explosive, right? And if we think Walcott's going to start, why not go Walcott? I tell you, he came on tonight and he looked on it. Yeah. And he was the closest to scoring.
It's a good
and
one.
If he's going to start, then I'd look at Walcott. I'm thinking about taking Sanchez out for Walcott if I think Sanchez isn't going to start. Because I think Sanchez is right for the rest, and the luck I'm having, Walcott probably get a hat trick. So Walcott's one for the punt midfield. Up front, you've dropped his name in already, Jonty Ulloa. I think Leicester are going to score a couple at least against QPR, and Ulloa, I don't see him handling them, and he's on penalties, isn't he, as well? So he's only getting 70 minutes average now because he's a bit like Giroud, he's a bit of a lump, but 70 minutes against QPR might be enough. So Ulloa's the forward that I'm looking at for the punt up front. So those 3 for me: Kolarov, Walcott, Ulloa. So there is stuff out there. There's stuff out there.
There is. Ulloa's a great one, I think, as well. And Van Klinkert de la Rosa asks, after Chelsea's performance against West Brom, is it still worth holding on to their assets for the last game week? I'd say Hazard is always worth hanging on to, and I'd personally be keeping. But I think if you've got any of the others, I have Ivanovic myself. I'm not convinced. It's tough to take them out because often it will probably involve a hit, perhaps, to take them out. But I don't have particular faith in them. I did have at the beginning of the week one of our many Chelsea fans on the site, Ruth NZ, was posting about how they could be a bit of a differential because people are ditching them. But I'm not sure. Whether that's going to be the case now.
Yeah, I think had Sunderland not got the point tonight, then you'd think about. They would have parked the bus at Stamford Bridge to try and get that point. Now that's over. Chelsea, it's going to be very relaxed. It's very tough to see what's going to happen there. Costa will play, so I suppose he's even a differential. I don't think you get rid of your Chelsea players simply because we know Mourinho's come out and said he's going to play the team that won in the league, so we know they're going to play them. So your biggest priority this week is getting 11 out first and foremost. So the last thing you're going to do is
that's always
What about Papa Cisse at home to West Ham? He didn't start, did he, last week? Did he start? He only played 28 minutes.
Oh, so this is going back to your punts, Granville, is it? You're going all over the shop. But yeah, he's won. He's been bandied about Cisse because Newcastle need a goal, don't they? So
yeah, he's also a player that doesn't really need particular form. He is utterly unpredictable. We don't know how many minutes he's going to get. We don't know whether he's going to score a brace and an assist or nothing. You just have no idea. So yeah, he's good. We've got another question here. This is a bit broader, really. Dead Star, what changes would you like to happen to the Fantasy Premier League game for next season? He says this is his first season playing the game, and he has some question marks over the bonus system and the price change system.
The thing is, that old Chester. The thing is, he's got question marks over the bonus. That's this season. He ought to have been around in 3 or 4 years ago. He ought to have been around at the EA PPI time when it.
Well, I tell you something, and it's positive. This is that they have improved this year. The bonus systems improved in terms of the scoring. The bonus systems improved in that there's less players who are on ties, which I think was the reason why they changed it. They doubled the scores. There's less ties, and that certainly worked.
I think.
Still have a lot of issues with the with the way the bonuses work and the way it favours some players and not others.
I think it tweaks. I think in the 6 or 7 years I've been doing it, this has been the season where I've seen less complaints about it, and I've personally been happiest with it. I think they broadly got it right. They ironed out some of the problems last year where very attacking fullbacks were losing out to central defenders. I think they've ironed that out this year. We've seen Bellerin getting 2 bonus. It's because he put lots of crosses in, which is great. So he's doing something a little bit extra. He's getting rewarded. And my only change, we mentioned it before, it's about goalkeepers. People like to get points for attacking, but I think sometimes in a 0-0 where the goalkeeper puts in 10, 11 saves, I know we spoke earlier with Mark about this as well, and there could be scope, I think, to improve the scoring for goalkeepers when they're so clearly pivotal to a result.
Yeah, I mean, once you've made, I think we said, didn't we, John? Once you've made more than 6 saves, so you get your 2 save points. When a keeper starts making 7, 8, 9 saves, they really should get bonus if there's a clean sheet kept. Now tonight, Pantilimon made 8 saves. It doesn't look like he's got bonus.
Yeah.
He would have been many people's man of the match, and probably will be all over the press tomorrow. Man of the match.
You don't even have to cover it in bonus points. You could say first 3 saves, 1 extra. Because you get for every 3 saves.
Yeah.
First 3 saves, 1 extra point. Second 3 saves, 2 extra points. You could do that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
There are a few ways you can deal with the keepers. I think defensive midfielders again not being rewarded. I think the other thing I think they've got fairly right was the way that the breakdown of the BPS for defenders, midfielders, and attackers. That if you're an attacker, you get more BPS than if you're a midfielder or a defender. And I think that actually, I was sceptical about that first, but I think it's actually right.
Mm.
Because of the way that defenders are already rewarded for things like, for clean sheets, and they generally get a lot of the bonus points when there is a clean sheet. So I think it's better balanced than it has been for a while.
Yeah,
I still prefer the man in the stand, though.
Only because of the kind of nuances and the kind of strange.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like Pantilimon. If Pantilimon did have as good a game as you said, then maybe the man in the stand would have given him the points. He certainly wouldn't have given Mignolet any points at the weekend.
Fair
the 1
enough.
point for the
penalties. Let it go. I mean, you're right. I think Jonty's spot on there. I think this is the best season they've had, and I just think there's a few little tweaks to be made, little levers to look at, and I think, and it's almost there. I think we've come to accept this one, and they're right. I mean, we know more than anybody how much griping there is about the bonus system in previous seasons, and this year people seem to be a lot happier with it. But I don't think Saturday evening would be the same if there wasn't people moaning about the bonus points. It's part of the game. It's actually part of the game I like. So,
I think so. Looking at our own site, so Your Mum's Athletic asks, what's our favourite website moment of the year? So the favourite moment on our website.
Couple for me. I mean, it's probably the same for you guys as well. The Vardy thing with Hutton, just as Lam was extraordinary.
Yeah,
that was a great moment when it suddenly broke that it was actually, he did have inside information. That was great.
Yeah.
And I was recently Douzra's return. That was a great moment for everybody to see Douzra posting back on the site after his illness, and particularly after the really terrible news about Absinthe and his loss. It came as a boost to everybody to see Douzra back on the board. So those 2 moments stick out for me. Have you got any others there, Jonty?
Well, no, I was going to say, just wrapping up with Douzra, and of course the passing of Absinthe, one of our regulars. For those who don't know, Douzra, another regular, was ill for some time and came back onto the website, which was great. I think it was the combination of both of those, the community spirit from everyone, the friendliness around it, and the outpouring of emotion. For both of those, it's not classed as a kind of a favourite moment. Obviously, these are both sad things, but in terms of a very emotional and a great moment of the site, where I think the community really did itself proud with those 2 events where 2 members of our community were very seriously ill.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. There you go.
One last question then, John.
Yes, so Spencer asks, are there any enhancements, new features planned for the site? So I guess that's over to you, Mark. What's
I mean, you wouldn't be surprised to know we're doing a mobile site. I mean, everyone's doing it now, so we got one in the works, and it's basically going to be a full redesign of the site. Not radical in terms of look, but radical in terms of the tech behind it. It's looking good. We're going to beta test it very soon. I wanted to push it out before the end of the season, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen, but it shouldn't be more than a couple of weeks. I'm trying to get it pushed through for a couple of weeks, and then we test it. We're going to invite some of the members to the test servers to have a play and give some feedback, and then probably a month before it's out there, but certainly before the start of the season. And then we've got a few other things. We're going to do that Hot Topics page. We're going to change the way Hot Topics are accessed and make it more like a forum hybrid. That's the plan. So that'll make Hot Topics easier to find, and you can find previous ones, and you can get involved in discussions in Hot Topics without even visiting the front page of the site. In a way, there's going to be a distinct page you can go to just for the discussion. So it kind of gives people that forum that they wanted, but that forum's going to be fed by the Hot Topics that are created within the comments. So that's the plan. That's a couple of exciting things. So there's plenty more little things up my sleeve, but we'll talk about those another day. So yeah, plenty to go. That was news to you, wasn't it, Jonty? That one about the Hot Topics?
The Hot Topics. No, well, I know it's something that we'd wanted for some time, and so yeah, no, it's good that that's coming in soon. I think that'll make it much easier.
Yeah. So next week, I should say, we're looking like we're gonna have Simon March on the show. Now, hopefully, we don't want to be too confident. We'll be crowning him champion, but we'll see. It looks that way, but we'll see. He's got a weekend to go, and we're gonna, for a first, we're gonna hopefully get Tom Fenley on and Simon March, and we can do that Miss World ceremony where the crown is transferred from one to the other. And obviously in Hangouts we can actually do that. We can put a crown on Tom Fenley's head, take it off, and pop it on Simon March's head. It's going to be amazing. History's going to be made.
Wouldn't it be more apt to have the like a green jacket?
Maybe.
And we use that colour anyway for the website.
Well, a flat cap would be better, but we'll sort something out. So hopefully next week we'll have Tom and Simon on, which will be great to have the previous champion and hopefully this year's champion as well.
I'm gonna have to miss out because I'm on holiday next week.
Right.
But you don't want me spoiling the party.
I'll tell you what, we'll replace you, Granville, with last year's champion and this year's champion. I'll see how.
Mark, I just wanted to mention one other thing that you probably want to mention is that with your incredible cup run in your own cup competition, so it looks like
it's embarrassing, isn't it?
It looks like you're through to the final of your own cup competition.
Yeah.
Where it looks like you'll be meeting Fo C, who it looks like, as I said, these scores are provisional at the moment. Looks like just missed out on being crowned the Members' Cup champion tonight. So
he lost in that final, and he's playing me in the final of the Paddy Power Cup. So I knocked Hutton out. Sorry, Hutton. Hutton dressed as Lamb. It was obviously down to Mane. So yeah, I'm in the final. So yeah, so I've already won a prize, haven't I? Because I got the runner-up prize. So if I do win it and I win the bets as well, I'll have to think about how we donate that to charity. What we'll have to do, we'll have to ask the community what I should do with the bet. Maybe put it all on Arsenal to win the league, Granville, next year.
Can I mention the council? Is it UEFA Council? Yeah. Unfortunately, we both are, because you're in Sri Lanka and I'm in India, and we've both been knocked out in the semi-final. It seems. Australia beat Sri Lanka and Bangladesh beat India. So there goes. We'll be playing the third, fourth playoff.
Right.
Okay.
Exciting game that means nothing.
Luke put me on the bench again, didn't he? Every time he's put me on the bench, I've had a flyer, and he did it again. So
he put you on the bench.
Had he played me, I think we'd have won. Yeah.
No,
let's have a look. No, about 50 points off.
Right.
So I doubt it, but there you go. 82 points on the bench.
There you go. So last minute transfers, and we could talk about this. John T, what's your transfer going to be? What are you thinking of?
One of Kane or Giroud is coming out.
Right.
Or Lukaku if it's Giroud, Ulloa or Gomez. Probably Ulloa if it's Kane. Whichever one I don't transfer out, I will bench because I want to play all Brighton. So I will probably maybe take a hit and get both. So I'll get Ulloa and Lukaku in. I might even captain him.
Nice. Okay. All right. Granville, what you got planned? Got to be a roll of the dice.
Yeah, it'll be something. I don't know. Lukaku is the one that's tempting me, but it just means a 4-pointer. Jonty's doing it, so if Jonty's doing it, it was good enough for him. It's good enough for me, isn't it?
Fair enough. So
you haven't got two transfers, have you, Jonty? You are spending 4.
No, as I said, I'm in a position. I'll be hovering around the top 2,000. To be honest, it doesn't really bother me that much being in the top 2,000 or being outside the top 2,000. So a 4-point hit for me is fairly irrelevant.
So I'm protecting his top 100 finish, which surely I'm going to have to make a massive error if I don't get this now. So I've got to get top 100. I don't know whether I'm going to take a risk, but the other thing is I've got the cup final, so I've got to look at my opponent's team and work that out and see what he's got. And I want to beat Green Windmill in the Contributors League, which looked ridiculously out of the question, and now I think I'm 6 points behind him. So it's just crazy. So I've actually got decisions to make. So I don't know if I want to talk about my transfers. Okay. Ulloa is one that I'm looking at because I've got Nugent, who isn't going to play, and I do fancy Leicester. That would be the Dullard move, Nugent to Ulloa. But Walcott is tempting me. He's an old favourite. Could he be that last roll of the dice that's worth it?
Are you looking at getting in the top of the Scout leagues? You could be right up there. There you go. You're 7th in the Members League, 25th in the Scout League, 25th. You probably that just shows you the competition.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the Scout League this year, very strong, very strong. So we'll see how it goes. Plenty to play for on Sunday for me, if not for much of the Premier League. But I just hope we're going to get a good day of football and some topsy-turvy stuff, because it'd be great for this season to end in a bit of a high rather than whimper out. But all being well, next week we'll be talking to the FBL champion, if that is indeed Duff Links, and hopefully Tom Fenley as well. Granville's not be about, which would be a shame, but it should be a crack of a show despite that. So thanks again, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us, John T.
Pleasure.
And thanks to you, Granville. And
I'll see you next year.
Yeah, you keep on playing now. You keep on playing. You've got to win it next year. You've got to beat me. After last year's trouncing me, I've got my own back this season, but it's all on again next year. It's good night for me.
Good night
for me.
Good night.
Good night.